In 1973, film legend Orson Welles released what would end up being his final film, F for Fake. The documentary film was groundbreaking and baffling for critics because instead of progressing plot, Welles would progress ideas and let his mind run over hours of footage. In retrospect, F for Fake is now considered one of cinema's earliest video essays, 30 years before YouTube. As a former English major and an insufferable prick, it's always fascinated me how often the essay part of the video essay is completely ignored.
Remember, video essays aren't essays.
¿Por qué no las dos?
They're called video essays because the videos themselves rhetorically function like an essay would rather than a film. Because philosophers and English teachers have this weird, creepy obsession with Aristotle, every essay has to achieve logos, pathos, and ethos for the ideas and arguments to be successfully executed. In F for Fake, Orson Welles uses a myriad of examples to come to the conclusion that fake art is still art, and that all art is some form of fakery. How does he do it? Well, we would have to get into the rhetoric. So to put the essay back in video essay, I present The Greatest Lie Ever Told, a real video essay on a fake video essay, dissected like it's a real essay. Defined by this boring sack of a man, pathos is an appeal to an audience's emotion. Typically, pathos is achieved not by what the writer is saying, but in how they say it or present it, and Orson Welles is no different. There are many different ways to say the exact same thing. For example, if I say, David Walsh painted Clifford Irving's recollections of his meetings with Howard Hughes. These meetings were an absolute lie. Howard Hughes denies ever meeting Clifford Irving. Now note how Orson Welles goes about saying almost the exact same thing.
David Walsh, and this is his impression based on Irving's report of that secret meeting on the Mexican pyramid with Howard Hughes.
Here's how it's supposed to have looked based on Irving's reports of those secret meetings, which in fact never happened. But who cared about facts?
Was Mr. Hughes a vegetable? A spook? A gibbering lunatic? Was his hair down to his knees? Were his fingernails 9 inches long? Did Howard Hughes exist?
Irving insisted that he did. Hughes denied the existence of Irving.
It is in this authoritative yet welcoming performance that connects the audience to Welles. Coming from the same man who made Citizen Kane, I was amazed that Welles never talked down to his audience even once. Instead, he is playful, warm, and welcoming in his speech. Hell, Orson Welles is even so welcoming he invites the audience in on the process of editing the movie as they're watching the movie. In a film where it's hard to tell if Welles is even telling the truth, I'm ultimately listening to him talk at me for an hour and a half and I don't get bored, which is a borderline miracle. Ethos is defined by this modern-day sex symbol as an appeal to authority or credibility. What can the writer or presenter do to gain our trust as an audience? I can imagine many saying Orson Welles made Citizen Kane the greatest movie in the history of movies, and that's all the credibility you would need, right? Credible voices have said stupid shit since the beginning of time. For example, Francis Ford Coppola, The Godfather, The Conversation, that guy. His movies are so good. Do you remember his classic When Robin Williams Went to the 5th Grade? You don't? Because it's trash. How about Kevin Smith? Clerks is not only one of the most successful independent movies of all time, but also one of the greatest comedies of all time. And now his career since then has turned into one giant fart joke. Back when F for Fake was released, almost no one cared about a new Orson Welles movie. It took over 3 years for it to be screened in the United States. Look at this commercial Welles starred in around the same time he was making F for Fake.
102, take 2.
Ah, the French champagne has always been celebrated for its excellence. There is a California champagne by Paul Masson, inspired by that same French excellence. It's fermented in the bottle, and like the best French champagne, it's vintage dated. So Paul Masson.
Not even Orson Welles cared about Orson Welles.
Action, please.
So how did Orson Welles reinvent his credibility? Through groundbreaking editing.
You don't talk about Napoleon or Julius Caesar. You're talking about Elmire.
Elmire?
Elmire?
Who is Elmire? That question has yet to be answered with any real precision.
Can I kiss you too? Anybody wants to eat?
In the world of the jet setters among us beautiful people, everybody knows Elmire. But Elmire what?
He has about 60 times the same name.
Dihori?
He's called his name Ori, Uri, Bori, Suri, Kori, Bari, Dori, all the...
Papa.
This footage is not a trailer. It is an actual scene, not edited at all by myself, that is in the film. Welles captures the electric energy of the art forger's life with his fast editing of interviews to get a real glimpse at the life of Dihori. Even when the film is at its most calm, the editing is still exciting, with these cuts from day to night to show Welles' deep pondering of the themes of fakery, and of his own career as an extension of being fake as well. Welles achieved credibility while telling the audience to their faces that he was a liar. Orson Welles became Orson Welles for a reason, and even in his final film, he was finding new and exciting ways to tell a story.
May we see it, please?
Up to your old tricks, I see.
Why not? I'm a charlatan.
Logos is an appeal to logic. The points and arguments in any essay have to make sense in order to deliver the right message, and Orson Welles does this by transitioning his subject, but never straying his focus on fakery. If F for Fake was just about this one art forger and all of his footage was shown, it would have grown tired very early. Instead, F for Fake focuses not just on the art forger, but his relationship to another forger, that forger's relationship to Howard Hughes' relationship to Orson Welles' relationship to his own art, art's relationship to the art market's relationship to Picasso, Picasso's relationship to Oya Kadar, and every man's on earth wished to be in a relationship with Oya Kadar. Every point and link solidifies Welles' views on the fakery of art, and every transition is seamless and flows perfectly because of the credible editing, and stays exciting because of Welles' performance. All three rhetorical devices combine and need to mesh with each other, and F for Fake passes with flying colors. By the end, I watched a film essay that had me questioning if any of it was real or if it was all bullshit. But then I came to the realization that none of that mattered. Whether it was forged or true, F for Fake is still art.
And now, with your permission, a bit of verse by Kipling. When first the flush of a newborn sun fell on the green and gold, our father Adam sat under the tree and scratched with a stick in the mold. And the first rude sketch that the world had seen was joy to his mighty heart, till the devil whispered behind the leaves. It's pretty, but is it art?
It's pretty, but is it art? Well, how is it valued?
The value depends on opinion. Opinion depends on the experts. A faker like Elmire makes fools of the experts, so who's the expert? Who's the faker?